So basically, I didn't tell you guys, but I made an intro for the show.
No way.
I think that's a theremin.
And then that fades out, and that's when we come in with our cool radio DJ voices.
And that's
God.
Literally, like right before we started doing this, Amanda's like, I think we should have an intro that has like cool theremins. And I was like,
Did you know what a theremin was?
Yeah, those
Oh,
are,
you
like-
son of a bitch.
And
I knew it was a theremin.
In the back in your head, you were like, oh, bitch, you want a theremin?
like
I love theremins.
Yeah, like everything in that, like all of the synths, those were almost all theremins. Because I was like, and there's literally like the like digital instrument is called like spooky. It's like
Spooky theremin?
I think it's called spook keys. And I was like, oh, it's so perfect. So, well, fucking welcome everybody.
That was meant to be.
To the first ever episode of whatever this is.
Yeah. Whatever the fuck this is going to be.
Yeah. So why don't we introduce ourselves? My name is Andrew Taylor. You know me from such things as Trashberg and Trashcast and Hal Beard on YouTube and all that stuff. Probably not.
Yeah, we
but
get it. You're fucking famous.
That's what I.
Wow.
You do so much.
That's all the stuff that I do. Who are you guys in my house?
Oh, I'm Liz Allen.
It's Liz's birthday today.
Also turning 33. I'm going to have to figure out numerology-wise what that means. But yeah, I also occasionally come and harass you guys on Trashcast, and that's...
You're on most of the episodes.
I'm on most of the episodes, and that's pretty much what I've been involved in lately.
Cool. How about you, other voice?
Other voice.
That sounds really familiar or similar to the other, to Liz.
Oh, man. Well, my name is Amanda Miller. You know me from such things as... nothing, because I have never been on a podcast.
You work at
I work at the co-op
the
with
fake
Andrew.
grocery store downtown that nobody thinks is a real grocery store
Yes,
that
we
everybody
do.
goes to.
You describe yourself as both of you guys would describe yourselves as artists.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
All that $44,000 of student loans.
Amanda helped me paint SIP. If you hadn't done the background, I probably would have actually killed myself.
You would still be there.
I'd still be there, foaming
Speaking
at the mouth.
So we're still figuring it out, but this is going to be about like
We're spitballing. We're workshopping.
ghosts, horror stories, like
Spooky
murders,
things. True crime.
haunted places, both locally.
I'm all about the true crime.
Yeah, both locally and elsewhere. We'll branch out. So
Some cryptids.
We'll talk about big feet.
Love me some cryptids and some big feet. Oh,
Oh, I love them big feet. But
Girl.
so we've had a bunch of crazy things happen to us today. I don't know how much I believe in it, but there's been a couple like happenings today, ironically.
you know what that is?
What is it?
It's synchronicities.
What
What?
is that?
We're heading into the chaos stream, y'all. Get ready for high strainness, bitches.
Is that like-
Strangeness.
Straightness.
I've had a lot of
Straightness.
tacos.
Yeah,
High straightness.
we did eat a lot of tacos before we did this. But what is that? You're talking
So
about?
high strainedness is it's basically tied into the idea of like energy attracting like energy.
Whoa.
So when you start to put out into the universe spoopy things, crazy happenings, and all of this, the theory is that those things will start coming to you. And when that starts to happen, you are experiencing high strangeness. It is also called living within the chaos stream.
Whoa.
I don't know if either of you guys have ever had this happen to you, but it usually starts with one crazy ass fucking thing. And then from there, it just spirals out of complete control. Your life seems like it is just absolute. It is chaos. You are within the chaos stream. And the only way to get out of it is to slowly realize that you need to ground yourself, just back into like the current universe that is happening like within reality.
Whoa.
But what happens with high strangeness is when you start to talk about things like cryptids and UFOs and ghosts, those things will become attracted to you.
No.
And it's also the idea of like when people trip on acid and they want to do things like read the Necronomicon, hilarity ensues essentially. And so you are attracting yourself and opening your mind to whatever those beings are, whatever that dimensional field is.
Jesus.
And it starts to affect your life, which is why we're going to have to probably sage your house after this podcast.
If we keep recording these here, yeah.
So what is some of the synchronicities you were experiencing today?
Well, the first thing, I went for a walk this morning, like I usually do, to keep my figure. And I found
It's really
this
working.
rock gem crystal thing.
Oh, that's a piece of rock salt from the winter.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I wasn't sure if it was, but like I kept fucking with it. And
No,
I cleaned it.
That's a quartz crystal.
It either is a quartz or it's a beaten up, cool looking piece of glass. It could be like a piece of, like lake glass. I don't know.
I don't know. I was hoping you guys would know.
No, that
But it is very cool. Looks like a quartz.
it looks like quartz, but now that I'm touching it, why is it sticky?
It was. I washed it
Interesting.
off. Maybe I didn't rinse the soap off enough.
I almost feel like this is just a crazy beaten up piece of glass, but
Yeah.
it looks really cool.
It is
I would
very cool.
almost venture to say that it's quartz because it's so thick.
Really?
What? I mean, either way, that is pretty
It is a
cool.
little sticky. Yeah.
Clear quartz is a good way to channel energy.
Yeah, actually.
In a
it's-
positive way.
Yeah.
In a
Yes.
positive
Yeah.
way.
Nullify all the fucking ghost shit we're gonna talk about.
Nope.
All right.
Sorry.
Bummer.
You would want like a smoky quartz or like obsidian to.
I have obsidian.
There you go. Rose quartz. I'm not necessarily a crystal person. I just think they look fucking cool, and
I
I'm
do
all
too.
about that
Right.
rich aesthetic or
All right.
whatever.
Well, I guess I'll have to get some more obsidian. But other weird other weird things that happened today. Just a moment ago, before we got here, we ran into a bunch of our pals that you guys
Yeah.
know a little bit more than
Yeah,
me.
that we were oddly enough talking about earlier.
It's like
today.
all the people
Yeah.
we needed to see right before this, they were just right fucking in front of us.
Yeah.
Also holding tacos.
Also,
yes,
yeah.
that we just came from dinner,
Yeah.
eating Liz's birthday dinner,
Eating Liz.
eating Liz.
We're consuming Liz's ass.
No, I was thinking we're
no,
cannibalism,
no.
but yeah, we
Delicious.
were talking a lot.
We talked about
ass
that
eating.
too, and no, we don't do that.
There's
Well-
nothing like talking about ass to mouth while you're eating beans.
tacos.
We'll save that for
Yeah.
after the show.
Oh,
Yeah, but who did we run into?
I don't. Should I say names?
Names.
You can say
are
first
all right.
names.
We okay. Well,
One of them's a very public figure.
yes. One of them is a very public figure.
Two of them,
Matt,
technically.
who does the Adirondack Ghost Tours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dresses all oldie timey.
He's
Yeah.
the guy. If you're local, he's the guy that you always see. He has the crazy top hat and he
Right.
has the mutton
Yeah.
chops. And he's always
Yeah.
dressed up. with
Also
the
a fellow
cool-
reenactor with
Yeah.
my husband and I.
Yeah.
So we know Matt pretty well, and his wife Wendy, who I love. Shout out Wendy if you're
Love
listening.
Wendy.
And both are huge, avid Spoopy fans.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
They
yes.
love the spooky.
So I guess it was just really ironic that we happened. Like it's literally right in front of my house. Like right after we got out of
We
the car.
were
Right.
talking about them while we were at dinner, and earlier in the day on Facebook, Wendy had posted a picture, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Wendy, how's it going? I miss you. Hope all is well." And then I saw her later that day. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey," and we're getting out to do the podcast. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, hey, Wendy."
And like talking about how we wanted to reach out to Matt for a lot of like the inspiration
Right.
stories and
Right.
historical stuff. And
Because
he's just
he
right
is
fucking
like
there.
the ghost local
Yeah.
historian.
'Cause I don't know about you guys. I did not reach out to him. I know we were like, oh yeah, we're going to reach out to him. Let's all
he
try to talk
messaged
to
me
him.
and just said, "Oh, I have a bunch of stories." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Oh, okay. Did you ask him to? Because I did not.
He would want a specific. He could write me a novel.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yes, he's a wealth of knowledge.
He is.
But was there any other things that like that's the stuff that happened to me today?
Yeah. I was just having a lot of weird shit happening because it was my birthday. So I feel like that
Right.
sort of like overshadowed.
Yeah, birthdays are weird.
Yeah, a lot of
It's
it.
the birth of this podcast
It
too.
is the birth of this podcast and the birth of me.
Oh,
the
my
birth
God.
We're gonna have to-
of my
This
girth.
podcast is a cancer
I'm an Aquarius.
in the best way.
In the best way. This podcast is a cancer. You're an Aquarius?
I'm actually a Libra.
No.
Yeah.
So is my sister.
Which one?
I only have one.
Oh yeah.
I have two.
For anybody that doesn't know, Liz and Amanda.
My twin sister's a Capricorn.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's
know?
because you're.
I know.
I should have just. What are you, Amanda?
Oh, Capricorn.
Oh,
Somebody has
okay.
said to me before, "When's your sister's birthday?" I'm like, "Bitch, we're twins. We got the same damn birthday."
My co-hosts here, Liz and Amanda, have been very good friends.
How's that
for
puberty
very, It happens every now and then. Have been very good friends for a very long time. So sometimes they blend together in my mind a little bit, and I'm sorry for
Yeah.
that, but it happens.
I mean, that's
It
okay.
happens.
Take it as a compliment.
Yeah, right.
All right, cool. So that's all the spooky stuff. So what the fuck are we gonna do on this show?
Well, today I have got in place an amazing spooky cryptid
Whoa.
tale.
Yes, my favorite.
I basically
Believe.
But first,
super yikes.
we thought it'd be cool to start off the show with a tarot card reading.
Oh my god.
Yes,
I forgot.
Yeah, Liz forgot her
I
tarot
got really
cards.
excited.
So we are looking on the internet for a daily tarot because Liz forgot her cards. So I'm going to pick one.
Do you think it's going to be different if we're using the internet? Like, is it as mystical?
I don't think it's as mystical, but it's
Pick
always
the card
God.
and just pretend like your phone is a card.
Okay.
Whoa, look at all those cards.
I feel like I fucked this so bad by forgetting my tarot set. What kind of a
whole
fucking
podcast is ruined.
Oh,
New
Lord.
age
This is a
mystic
terrible card.
bitch?
We
am
could just
I?
read my
Nope,
horoscope.
Nope.
Okay.
We need to use the terrible card. That's the one that was given to us.
That's not good.
That's
What
not
is
how
it?
you read tarot. Is it the Nine of Swords? Because
No,
one's a
it's the
bitch.
Hanged Man.
Oh, the
Oh.
Hangsman, not the Hangsman.
I mean,
He's just hanging.
What's the hanging man? mean?
okay, the Hanging Man. The Hanging Man. Be calm, proactive, and don't exhaust yourself with endless fear.
Well, I'm done.
Oh, no. Any number of things might backfire or go wrong today, just like any other day. This seems to be your card today, Liz.
Oh, yeah, it's bad, so it's my card.
No, I mean, you weren't having the greatest day.
No, it's true. I was having a good day, and then I had a bad day, and now I'm having a good day again.
That's good.
Like I said, roller coaster.
Right.
I am in the chaos stream
Whoa.
because it's my birthday.
So this is maybe for you. I don't know. We'll see at the end. And there is little, if anything, extraordinary to be fearful about now. Your basic sense of insecurity may be higher than normal today, but this will pass soon. Take heart and
Bitch,
be your
that's always my
normal,
sense of
brave
insecurity.
self, girl.
My
Live, laugh, love.
Yes. Let it play.
So what's
Let
the
it-
main
let it-
takeaway from that card? Jesus.
Sorry.
Liz's birthday 2019.
Yeah, Liz's birthday 2019. That's what that card means. No, I actually, I feel that card because I was having a shit-tastic kind of a day there for a minute. I woke up and just being like, it's my birthday. And then
You posted a good Instagram.
yeah, I was looking cute, feeling my oats. And then I realized I fucked up a lot of stuff. Work was kind of hell, but it always is. And, became less happy about my birthday because the one bitch about when it's your birthday is that one single thing goes wrong and then your birthday is just completely fucking ruined.
I've had those birthdays.
And then one good thing does go right, and you're like, best birthday ever. And then
Right.
minor inconvenience again. Fuck it. Why haven't I just died yet? And then now I'm back to being like, oh my God, I love my birthday. And
your
it's so
birthday.
great.
It's a very spooky roller.
Okay, so wait.
It's a spooky roller coaster.
So your birthday, it was just crazy.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, I know exactly what happened. The people don't know what happened. It was just a crazy kind of day.
yeah, it was just a crazy kind of day.
I reeled her back in, and I was like, "Hey, girl,
Bitch,
listen,
you got this.
Yeah, you got this, girl. You got this.
Girl,
it's
you
gonna be a
got
great day."
Everybody wished me happy birthday, so it was. It was great. It was a good time overall.
Very good.
Year. So
We got tacos.
Happy birthday, Liz. Happy
Thanks.
birthday, podcast.
Happy birthday, podcast.
Happy birthday, podcast. We're
So-
probably gonna not kill you. I hope.
I hope.
I'm not going to kill anybody. Probably. But what's the first...
In the stories, there will be
Whoa,
killing.
speaking of killing.
maybe.
Oh, you want death?
I'll read you some death.
I got death.
I actually don't have death, but I do have.
I do.
I have a jazzy cryptid.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh my face.
So I'm gonna base a lot of everything that I am going to bring to the table tonight is based off of a book called A Bear Road: The True Story, and this was written by the guy himself, the Deuterino, who witnessed this cryptid. AKA maybe a Sam Squanch, AKA Sasquatch, AKA Bigfoot. And there you go.
Or maybe a standing...
AKA my dad.
Ooh.
It's not my dad. They call me Bigfoot.
Or maybe a bear
But not
standing
the
on his
Bigfoot.
back feet.
Yeah, or it's a
Could be.
bear who has mange, who is walking around, and then it's just like I just picture a bear like walking around in the woods, and then he sees that he's being seized by something, and he's like, oh, and then goes back down on all fours. He's like just a bear like walking on his back feet, like carrying like a coffee mug and a newspaper. Oh shit,
Actually, my dad.
They can't know.
that is your dad.
So
Okay.
what's the story about?
Okay, so basically this premise is it was a guy back in 1976. He actually still exists. He didn't only just exist in 1976. But his name was Brian Gosling. And
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, Brian Gosling.
Dreamy.
So the
Hey, girl.
thing with Brian we're on first name basis now.
Oh, wow.
Is he got burned by the national media after this happened, and one of the reasons why
Like
is because
they do.
yeah, like you do.
What did he do after he saw the things? The national media just shat on him.
So this took place in Whitehall, New York, which is, I'm pulling this out of my ass, I think maybe like 3 to 4 hours south of us. And it's still considered part of the Adirondacks. I'm also going to be pulling that
I mean,
out
the
of my
Adirondack
ass.
Park is
It's huge, but
Park is huge.
but it's not as huge as you think it is, because
Huge.
Albany, because I think it takes like 9 years to get to Albany, but
No, it
like by the
takes,
time you
like-
get to Albany, you're
Right.
already outside of the Adirondack
Right.
Park.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's huge, but it's not like it's not.
I
like
mean, what are
a
we?
big giant boy?
10 miles from the Adirondack Park?
If that.
If
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So anyway, this happened in Whitehall, New York, specifically on a place called Abear Road. And the thing about Whitehall, New York is that it's a small town. It is a very small
I
town.
was born in a small town.
Sorry. That was a small
It's nice to
town
not-
of bacteria growing in my stomach creating gas.
It's nice not being the only one burping on a podcast.
I have not burped yet.
I am so full of cheese and beans at this point. It's really bad. So he was 24 years old. He had just had his first 2 kids. Was a cop.
24. I'm not a cop and I don't have any
Well,
kids.
this is back in the
Congratulations.
This is back in the 70s, and you had to really just lock it in and get shit started.
Wow.
Because people were dying 70s. It's like you die in your 50s.
All right. He's getting it done. He's a middle-aged.
I don't know if that
That's
actually
not that.
A successful middle-aged man.
So he and his wife actually ended up writing this book as part of them coming out so they can speak their truths about what had happened. And it took over a span of 2 nights within this guy's personal life in the town of Whitehall. So how this starts is that he is on duty in the town of Whitehall and he cannot leave his post. One night, specifically August 24th, 1976. He's sitting in his police car and suddenly a truck comes barreling towards him and he's a cop. So he's like, oh, gotta get fucking ready. Time to turn on the engine because I'm going to have to pull this drunk asshole over. Turns out that drunk asshole was his brother. Oh my God.
Shit.
So his brother sees his patrol car and pulls over. And he goes up to, his brother's window and he's just like, dude, specifically, I think he says, what the hell have you guys been smoking and or drinking tonight? And
Did he say dude first?
No, he didn't say
Oh.
dude. That was me ad-libbing.
70s cop.
70s cop. So he ends up talking to his brother who is visibly shaken.
Whoa.
His brother is freaking the fuck out. And his brother's friend is like, dude, we just fucking saw something.
I just saw some shit.
We just saw some fucking shit, man. And so he's convinced that he's just tripping balls and is all crazy
Right.
and
Like you
whatever.
did in the 70s.
Like you did in the
As
70s.
they did.
Everyone was constantly tripping on acid back in the 70s. So
Or doing Quaaludes.
yeah. So what ended up happening is they saw a creature in the woods and they couldn't explain what it was. They were absolutely terrified. And he is very, very adamant in repeating over and over in the book that his brother is never scared of anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a family of big dudes, apparently. And
It finally happened. Oh, God.
finally happened. So, what happened from that is that he couldn't leave. He's like, I'm on duty, you guys. I don't
Right.
care what the fuck you just saw in the woods. I can't just leave my post just because you think you saw it could have been a bear, it could have been some hairy drunk man. We don't know.
Right.
So you guys, and they're like, all right, fine. I'm gonna go fucking get dad. And he's like, well, fine, go get dad.
I'm gonna go get dad.
This is the most
Fuck
sibling
you, I'm getting
thing.
dad. So they went and told told them to
They went and
basically
told
fuck
dad.
off, and so they went and told dad.
Okay.
So he ended up getting off duty and he went to the diner that he always goes to. And sure as shit, his dad and his brother and the
Oh.
friend show up and they're like,
Whoa.
dude, there's fucking something in the woods.
Holy
So
shit.
It's the
and at
Blair
first-
Witch.
Yeah, and at first he didn't believe them because he didn't completely understand what was happening, and he thought they were just pulling jokes. He thought that they were pulling pranks. It's summertime, everybody's getting bored. It's a small ass fucking town, and then it comes to find out his dad brought other cops because his dad was the captain of the police force.
Oh,
Whoa.
Dad showed him.
He did not know that it was taken that seriously. So his dad, a couple other police officers, his brother Paul, and this other dude named Marty all witnessed the same fucking thing. And what happened was they retraced the original path that Paul and Marty were on, the brother and the friend. They found the tire burnout marks where they, according to their story, had squealed on the gas to take off because this thing scared them so much.
What the
Two
fuck?
grown-ass men ran to their dad.
Oh,
with a
man.
police
Daddy.
officer.
I mean, wouldn't you? I
I
definitely would run to my dad.
don't know.
I'm
Honestly,
sorry, but I
don't know
would.
what I would do.
I'd run to Dad.
I'd run to dad.
Sure as shit, I would.
So, one of the things that said that scared them so much was an ear-piercing scream that was unlike a woman and unlike anything they had ever heard in their entire lives. They said it shot down their spines like ice cold water. Have
These
you guys
guys
ever
were-
thought about this?
These guys were poets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they ended up tracing the steps that the brother and the friend had made. They brought the cops with them.
There
And
it is. Oh God.
Was that the piercing scream?
Oh God, that was it.
So they were checking along the edge of the road for any signs of tracks, and this was when they brought the cops with them. So the scream had come from the back of the section of the field, and so they're back there. This is going ahead. The dad, the cops, the brother, and the friend. And this is all happening without fucking Brian. He's like back in the city or in the town. Like,
Wait,
having
so
his
Brian was
duty.
the cop that was the brother cop that
yeah,
was
that
like
was the brother
hell
cop
no.
who told them to fuck off, and they're like,
Right.
"Fine, I'm getting dad."
All right, and
So
then Dad
after-
is like the police chief.
Yeah, dad's the
right,
police
all right.
chief.
After what's about to happen, that's when they go get Brian again.
Yeah, well, yeah. So like
Like
they're
shit,
just-
we need backup.
yeah, like Paul and Marty are just fucking off in the woods doing whatever, and then they see this thing happening. They said they heard a scream. They saw something like dart across the road, and the scream is what initially got them to be like, "Oh, what the hell's happening? Is a woman being attacked?" And then they heard the scream again, like right next to the truck, and they're like, "We're about to fucking die!"
Right.
And then that's when they slammed on the gas and sped out and actually caused
Whoa.
a burn
Like a
on the
burnout.
Abear Road.
Right.
I'm sorry, but when you say the piercing scream, you guys know in like heavy metal when the guys do the yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that, but there's one time my friend Jordan thought that would be easy to do. He's just like, oh, just do like the low growly, but do it higher. So he made this noise. He went, ooh.
Maybe that was it.
You know what that actually kind of sounds like? Like the alarm that's going off in the background when a submarine is like,
Oh yeah.
ooh, ooh,
I have no idea.
we're gonna
what you're
go. We're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
reactors.
Okay.
Ooh.
the red alert
Yeah.
is going off.
Oh, we killed this.
The
on our
tacos
birthday.
are coming back up.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm kidding. This is because I smoked like 30 cigarettes earlier. So cutting back to Marty and Paul, Dad, and the cops. So what happened was they had their cop cars with them. So they crack on a spotlight into the back of this field after the group heard the second, or at this point, third scream. I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place when I'm telling this story because it's exciting.
Okay, they heard the third scream, and
They heard
this is the brother's with them now.
Yeah, third scream for
Brother
No,
hears
no,
it.
Brother's
Oh.
not with him. Brother
Oh.
is still back in town because he's on duty and he can't leave and he's a little bitch boy.
But didn't they go and get him? Weren't they going to get
He
him?
said, "No, I can't go with you," and they said, "Fuck you, we're getting Dad."
Yeah, right. And then they got Dad, and then I thought they went
No,
back.
the dad,
Okay.
the dad is a police captain, and he was like, "All
Right.
right, boys, let's go check this out." And then they cocked their
Okay,
rifles.
got
and it was really cool.
Got it.
All right.
Or at least
boys.
I'm assuming that's what happened.
Okay, yeah, mine was a terrible gun.
Let's go shoot this thing. Okay, so anyway, they go back to the original spot.
Let's do what we always do when we see something we don't like.
We just
Kill it.
fucking kill it. So they finally hear the third scream. Well, third scream for the brother and his friend. This is really, I'm so, yeah. And then first scream for the dad and all the cops because they didn't know what was actually happening at this
Okay,
point. They
gotcha.
didn't expect to find anything because they also probably thought that Paul's full of shit because who is named Paul who's not full of shit?
That's my husband's
Oh,
name.
fuck, I forgot PJ's name. Well, technically his name is PJ.
Yeah, right.
That's not.
Paul's his born name.
Paul's like, I'm Lizbeth.
What?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway.
You're right. He's not an actual Paul.
No. So he's a poser Paul.
Fake Paul, Jake Paul.
So So they end up cracking on a spotlight, and what they see is what everyone there could see was a very large, dark silhouette of a man-type thing walking across the backfield, heading toward the far back corner. It was walking upright like a man, but it was probably 7 to 8 feet tall. That's no bear,
Whoa, that is no bear.
said his dad, apparently.
Please
its
shoot Dad.
They said its stride was similar to a man's, but the gait was different, and it had long arms that swung down to its knees when it walked. They watched it quickly cover the back of the field in its long strides, then easily stepped over the fence and disappeared into the hedgerow. There was no denying that they had all seen it, and all the police officers who were present got a decent look at it. They were
Does
like,
it actually say decent?
yeah.
Dude, that's the most North Country word.
Got a decent look at it.
Decent. Did they catch it down to Stewart's too? Get yourself some Red Man
I don't
Shaw.
know. Did Stewart's exist back in 1976?
Maybe.
I hope it did.
It sounds like they either saw Bigfoot or a lady with the big boobies.
Big furry
I got a
boobies.
decent look at her.
80. Oh, you got a decent look.
was
Spit
like,
into his
"Oh."
can.
Wicked.
You know what they say about a cryptid with big feet?
Big sock.
Big sock.
Big Bigfoot sock.
So then everybody ended up coming back to the diner, and he and Brian, who is the, I guess we'd say, protagonist to this, even though it's technically a real story. So they came back,
MC.
and they basically, and his dad recounted everything that had happened, and this guy was like, "Okay, I can't not deny my dad's take on all of this, and not to
Right.
mention all of my coworkers, the
Right.
other police officers,
Yeah.
but still fuck Paul and Marty because they're little bitches."
I didn't see shit.
And
Lord.
but after he had all of them recount what had happened, he realized that it wasn't a joke anymore, and that these people really had just experienced something like absolutely crazy.
Wow, yeah.
So what he decided to do afterwards, because he felt left out, is he decided to go back the very next night.
Brian?
Brian.
Brian.
The brother.
Brian. Yeah, Brian was like, you know what? I got the night off.
I'm
see-
going.
Yeah, let's go see if some more fucked up shit can happen.
this is where the spooky music starts.
Does he go alone?
Nope. He brings his friend Jeff, who
Jeff.
Who the fuck is Jeff?
Jeff Foxworthy.
My name Jeff?
My name's Jeff. You guys remember that?
I sure
No.
do.
I'm sorry. Okay. So his friend Jeff is actually a state trooper. And also he's saying Jeff in air quotes because Jeff is not actually this real guy's name.
Okay.
You will find out why he's not giving Jeff's real name in a moment.
His real name's
He just picked a very North Country name to
Yeah.
give somebody.
his real name's actually Jeffrey.
Yeah. So him and his buddy Jeff are like, all right, we're going to go see if we can find this like fucking like Beastie Boy
Yeah.
and get some, you know, let's see if anybody.
They went to go get Daddy.
They went
Big
to go
Daddy.
get fucked by a Sasquatch.
So they went and they decided to take two separate cars so they could cover more ground on Abear Road.
How do you spell A Bear Road?
Yeah,
It's spelled A Bear. A-B-E-A.
Oh, really?
No.
ABAIR.
Okay.
A Bear. Because we saw a bear there.
I swear to fucking God, if you finish telling the story and you're just like, you know what they saw that day? It
A
was
bear.
a bear street. I'm gonna fucking flip this table and we're not doing the podcast. ever
This
again.
is not fucking
Podcast
happening.
over.
So anyway,
I hope it's not over.
so Jeff and Brian end
Yeah.
up going back to the original spot where his dad and his brother and the other cops said that they had seen this thing, right? They decided to go late at night because they wanted to get it as close to the time that the original spotting and activity had started happening.
All right.
So they finally get everything set up around like 12:30, 11 o'clock at night. Or 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And they were chatting back and forth on the CB radios because it's the 70s and everybody had a CB radio
Yep.
in their car.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're talking back and forth and they're getting like super, super bored. And suddenly they hear a bunch of racket coming from this the hedgerow. He said branches were snapping and breaking, like something really heavy was moving through the underbrush. I asked Jeff if he could see anything, and he pretty much answered me by shouting, "What the hell is that? Holy shit!"
Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. So anyway, his friend Jeff actually physically shits himself. And then he fucking leaves him. He abandons him.
After he shat himself?
He shits himself. No, I don't know if he actually shit himself.
Wait, that was a lie?
No, I'm ad-libbing. He didn't actually shit himself, but he did say he screamed. He managed to scream "Holy shit!" and then just fucking left.
Oh, God.
He left him alone in a
God.
field
He
in
left
the
Jeff
dark.
alone?
Possibly full of shit.
No, Jeff left Brian.
Oh
alone.
no. Who
Jeff
shit
was-
his pants?
Nobody shit his pants. I was ad-libbing.
And you don't
Pretend
know.
it happened.
He
You don't
doesn't
know.
say he didn't.
He could have. He
You don't-
could have
Liz-
actually pooped.
Liz Allen, you don't know what's going on in anybody's pants.
No, you never know, and I don't care to, honestly, if we're gonna be real. So
He'll
Jeff
show you
just-
where a bear shits in the buckwheat. But
So Brian was abandoned by his friend Jeff, who was a state trooper. And that's why he chose not to use his real name. So he couldn't understand what was happening. Brian's alone at this point in the middle of a field in his fucking car.
oh God, that was the bear.
He's like, oh shit.
And so he can still hear all this crashing. He doesn't know what Jeff saw. He doesn't know why Jeff just suddenly decided to fucking leave. But he's a state trooper who fully just abandoned another officer of the law
Right.
and just took off.
He was a scared boy.
Yeah, and he said, Jeff left me alone out there. Not only just alone, but alone with whatever it was.
In shitty pants.
And
So
shit
he gets
pants.
out of his car because he's pissed. And he can hear the crashing coming towards him.
Oh my God.
He said that because of that, he got back into his car.
Yeah, right. Like
Good
you would.
story.
Yeah, but the window was still down. And he was
He's
listening.
trying to use the crank
I
because there's
know.
no
You can't-
electric
yeah,
windows.
Fuck that back in the 70s. Like something spooky was happening. You're dead. You're basically dead.
All the doors are unlocked.
Yeah,
you gotta
nobody-
try and climb
Yeah,
over. And
nobody has time to fucking crank up one of those windows.
No.
So yeah,
No.
it's whatever. So he left his car door open, turned off his interior dome light, and he opened the door after this thing like started getting closer to him. Like he's taking forever to try to figure out what the fuck it is that he needs to do with his life because something is clearly walking towards him.
But
that
let
is
me just
massive.
leave the door open.
Well, he's a cop, so this is what he does.
right.
He positions the door between him and whatever it is that he can hear coming towards him, and he pulls out his fucking Glock.
Oh shit.
Dude, but you don't know if that's like a rabid skunk or something that's like right at your ankle.
Well, I mean, a
length,
skunk
you
is
know?
gonna sound. A skunk's not gonna sound fucking huge. Like this thing's like thumping.
I don't know. The woods are weird. It echoes and shit.
Maybe.
And you
I'd
know,
say if I'm a cop and I have my gun in my car, I'd feel pretty.
I would
Ready.
still.
Yeah.
I would still be scared.
I know a girl who, while they were deer hunting once, they thought they heard the deer coming towards them, and she was alone with this other guy who was in a wheelchair, and they were like, "It's coming towards you! It's coming towards you!" So she got her rifle ready. Turns out it was a fisher.
Oh, those
Came-
are so cute.
Oh, I thought you meant like a fisherman.
No, like
No,
a
a
fisher. It's like a
fisher-
little weasel.
Well, they're bigger than weasels.
Yeah,
and
but
they're also fucking like fierce ass.
Yeah,
I have
they are
those in
cute.
my
So this thing comes
In your bed.
shooting.
My butt.
Oh,
You have
God.
fissures in your butt?
Yeah.
Did you know that they're
That's
a
an anal
protected
fissure.
species?
No.
You know an anal fish.
A fissure. That's
An
a
anal
fissure.
fissure.
They're
No, it's
spelled
a
the same.
fissure.
Oh no, your thing is something different.
An anal fissure?
no, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. I'm getting back to the story.
Okay,
now.
okay.
Okay, so he puts himself into position and then he begins to hear more branches cracking. Before then the crunch, 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 crunch. This is really good. And so occasionally the noises would stop. So he's sitting there for like 20 fucking minutes, hearing the noises, and then they're stopping. Hearing the noises,
Pardon
and then
me,
they're
I have
stopping.
really bad allergies.
Meanwhile, slowly getting closer and closer and closer to him. And then everything stopped. He said the bugs stopped.
Dead
the
ass
fucking-
silence.
Everything dead ass
Oh
silence.
Lord, something like that
And he
happened
said
to me before.
the skin, like the hair on his neck, like started to stand straight up. And then he suddenly heard it walking again. But because the night had become so silent, he could hear it brushing against the tall grass as it
Oh,
slowly
shit.
How the
walked
fuck
to his
far away
Shit.
was this thing?
Well,
I
in
mean,
the
you gotta be
beginning,
pretty
he
close
said
if you
it
can
was-
hear grass.
Yeah, before he said it was like, have you ever heard like shit fucking around in the woods?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you hear
it's-
the crack, like the cracking and
Right.
everything. So he's in the middle of this field. Then there's a hedgerow, and then his buddy was on the other side of the hedgerow. So I'm going to assume it probably was anywhere between like 50 yards or so, if not that, like if not a little bit closer. So Suddenly, it's so fucking quiet. He can hear this thing walking through the grass in front of him. So the nerves took over as it slowly began to get closer and closer to him. And that's when, sorry, he could hear his own heartbeat. It was so close, but he couldn't see it. Something told me to turn the spotlight on.
Oh, fuck. I'd be so scared.
The bitch did.
Oh my God.
And this is how he describes it. And I love this moment.
Oh, God.
The shock rolled over me like I was hit with a tidal wave. Nothing could have prepared me for this.
Oh my God.
Nothing. There it was, standing right in front of me. My spotlight shone on a 7 or 8 foot tall, hair-covered creature. It was only about 30 feet away from me. When the light hit its eyes, it let out a scream that vibrated through my entire body. It pulled its hands up over to cover its face, and you really can't describe a scream like that. It just wasn't human. I only saw its eyes for a brief second, but they were large, red, and bulging.
Wow.
To me, they looked to be about the size of a mayonnaise jar cover.
Well, that's the weirdest descriptor ever.
Also, like, there's so many different kinds of brands of mayonnaise. Like, what are we talking? Are we talking Hellman's? Are we talking like some
Miracle
kind of
Whip?
fancy?
Is
Yeah,
that
like
actual
which
mayo?
one is it? Like, are you talking like a big boy thing of mayonnaise? Like,
Or
what
like
kind
a
of
little
mayonnaise?
travel camping size?
Yeah, what kind of what does your family eat by mayonnaise wise? Like, what kind of jar are we talking here?
If we're talking Hellman's, that's a really big eye.
It could be a big ass
He
eye.
had teeth like a box of spaghetti.
I just
Oh my
keep burping.
God.
Ears like corn.
So,
Sorry, I'm hungry.
Like a mayonnaise jar. Yeah, really. What? I'm thinking Hellman's.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with Hellman's.
maybe, you never know.
Shoulders.
That's a really big eye.
That's a big
That's a
ass
big ass eye, yeah.
But if you think about it, this thing is like 8 feet tall. I mean, it's probably got a big ass head.
You probably fucking
Yeah.
And he said the way, so another way he said, at that point, I was having some sort of shock type reaction. A million moments of my life were flashing before my eyes. My mind was everywhere, in the past, in the present, and unbelievably present.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievably.
I'm taco drunk.
Oh.
It's so hard to explain if you haven't experienced something like that, which I have, BT Dubs.
Let's get to that sometime.
And in that chaos, I was also thinking, should I shoot it? He doesn't.
Would have been way cooler if he did.
But he goes on to say that he could see every single detail of the creature. And
I mean,
like,
sometimes when you're in shock like that, like you don't think about it.
no,
But I guess he just said he thought about it.
yeah, he thought about it. He can remember every single moment. And he goes on to describe just like the absolute towering of this thing. And so that's like the actual experience that this dude had, right? So he ends up going back into town after this experience. He's completely shaken. He ends up actually having a panic attack in his car for about a solid 20 minutes.
Been there.
And then finally he was able to physically get himself back into town and met up with his friend Jeff. His friend Jeff decided that
Dude,
he never...
Jeff, that friendship is
Yeah,
over.
Fuck that guy.
Over.
Jeff,
Never...
you're not invited to poker tonight. Anymore ever again.
I'm going to talk to my dad.
I'm going to get
I'm
dead.
gonna talk to my dad.
So Jeff decided that he never wanted to talk about it. He decided not to communicate about what had happened. And Jeff denies that he saw anything.
Jeff is really like,
Jeff's a bitch.
he is
What a
done.
douche nozzle.
I don't know if they're because what would you guys do in that scenario? Like if you
I
were
would
like
stick by my friend.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing though. You'd stick by your friend for sure.
for sure.
But another thing he goes on to describe in this book is that how back in the 70s, you didn't talk about this kind of shit if you were in a
Right.
small town.
Yeah.
Because this was during like the big, like sort of cryptid UFO scare. And those small towns became completely overrun by fucking loony goons who
right,
just-
like crazy tourists. that
Oh my
want-
God, totally.
Right.
And because this guy was a cop,
Right.
suddenly he was discredited. And
Right,
their small
right.
town cops were
You're
suddenly
right.
all a bunch of dweebs. And other cops were like, oh yeah, the Bigfoot believers. Like, oh, okay.
But still friendship
don't
over.
go shoot a Bigfoot.
Friendship over.
Yeah, friendship over.
Imagine he tries to pull a guy over and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Aren't you the guy that thinks you saw big feet?
Yeah. Shouldn't you be out hunting Bigfoot, pussy?
Shut up.
Yeah. So
I'm going to arrest you. And he's like,
understandably.
shut up, loser. And they drive away and he cries.
My life is ruined.
Damn you, Bigfoot.
And that's essentially what happened to this poor guy.
Ooh.
So because
man.
so
he got
many
like run out of town.
well, because so many no, he didn't get run out of town, but because so many other people started to leak to the press about what had happened. And then that newspaper leaked to the bigger newspapers.
Right.
And those
Oh.
newspapers leaked to bigger newspapers. And before he knew it, he was being contacted by like Bigfoot hunters all the way from California who wanted to
Right.
fly out here, tromp around in their nice little backwoods village, and would have just completely, they fucking ruined it. And according to him, tourism. So his wife finally inspired him to write this book so that he could tell his full truth about what had actually happened, because this guy swears up and down that he got completely burned by national media. And he basically wrote this to stand up for himself. I think we got this off of Amazon. Highly, highly recommend.
What's the book, Liz?
It's called A Bear Road, The True Story by Ryan Gosselin and Sue Gosselin.
Very cool.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Not
It's a really
to be
good read.
confused with A Bear Road by Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. How do you spell Gosselin?
It's Gosselin. Gosselin.
Okay, I have family with a very similar last name, but it's not the same.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's crazy.
It could be a variant. But yeah. So what's
Dude.
your favorite cryptid story?
Have you guys seen any?
man.
You guys seen any? Not ghosts, but have you seen any like unexplained aminals?
I don't know. So I feel like, okay, so when I was a Girl Scout, there was this
4,000 years ago.
4,000 years ago when the Girl Scouts were founded by Isuzu.
I was. Liz Allen was
Neither
there.
of
She
which
was-
are true.
she was the
'cause
hi-
I was a senior Girl Scout.
I'm
I'm a Girl Scout for life.
I was a
actually.
senior Girl Scout. I got my gold award.
All right, so
bitch.
did I.
Okay,
Okay, well,
bitch.
fine. Let's just fucking fight now.
I actually didn't even know that about you.
Oh, really?
I feel like
I talk about that all the time.
I
because
talk about that all the
I
time.
feel like I peaked when I got my gold award. No, I'm kidding.
Are you sure you're not just absorbing each other's memories and all?
No.
Oh my god. Which
Maybe
one of
that's
us
another one that-
actually?
A synchronicity thing that you're talking about.
Synchronicity. Yeah. Fuck, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so there was this really
Girl Scouts.
spooky Girl Scout camp. And the issue with Girl Scouts
was it
camp,
Lake Clear?
No, I know, I
Oh.
wasn't here.
Oh.
I lived in Kansas. Shitty.
Mm.
There was this place called, oh my god, it's gonna drive me crazy. It was like Raining Willow or something like that.
Ooh.
And the thing about Girl Scout camps in Kansas is that they're all man-made because there aren't actually woods.
Right.
Because it's all fucking grass.
I was gonna say it's like hay bales.
Yeah. And it was like, God, what the fuck was it? It was like Shadow Lake or something unbelievably spooky for a fucking Girl Scout
Right.
camp. And
I mean,
we,
Lake Clear,
I know,
Crystal
right?
Lake.
Well,
Shimmering
like if you
mists.
think about it, if it wasn't for fucking Michael, no, not Michael, Jason.
Right.
Which one? It's one
That's
of those
Jason.
white guy names.
Jason Voorhees.
Michael, yeah.
Oh, okay. So if it wasn't for Jason,
White guy name.
they think about Crystal Lake actually sounds like fucking spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like something out of a fucking Lush
Some-
commercial.
Yeah, sometimes I forget that's Friday the 13th, and I'm just like, oh, that sounds like a cool place. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wait. But there was this place that we used to go to, and it was just notoriously fucked. Like, none of us ever liked when we had to go camping there. It was always cloudy for no reason. It's like the
I mean,
sun.
it's Kansas City.
Kansas is nice.
It's so cloudy.
It's not cloudy.
Thunderstorms.
Well, every night, but
Okay.
it's during the day. It's
You
hot as
lived
fuck
there,
in
I
the sun.
didn't.
Yeah. So anyway, but this place was always cloudy as fuck. And I remember there was one cabin that we were allowed to stay in because we would go on like a Christmas trip like every year, where we would all go camping in this one like cabin that was there that had heat and like a fireplace. And I vaguely remember one time we were staying out there and there was very clearly something huge and scary in the woods.
Whoa.
There are not bears in Kansas, first
Right.
off. No beers.
No beers in Kansas.
Well, Chicago beers, but no beers. And I remember like we were all legitimately terrified. And our Girl Scout leader was trying to calm us down. But what's the creepiest part about it is I feel like it's like a shadow memory. Like I can't fully put together everything that happened, but I remember we ran around and we locked all of the windows and all of the doors and we turned on all of the lights in the cabin. Meanwhile, like she's sitting there being like, girls, it's fine, girls. And we're just like, we're gonna fucking die out here.
Don't you hear it? It's out there.
Yeah. It's a bunch of Vikings.
Men with vuvuzelas outside.
Yeah. It's a bunch of soccer fans.
They call it football.
But that's like really the only like cryptid kind of a thing I can ever remember happening. I think there was like rumor that was like, oh, it's a chupacabra, but it's like we're like a little too far away from Texas for that to be a thing.
Well, we have a local cryptid, Champy, the sea monster, kind of like the Loch Ness monster, but for Lake Champlain.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. There's been a few, stories about that. This isn't actually.
I feel like Champy's more of a marketing scheme,
probably
than a cryptid.
So another Girl Scout story. So I was at a different Girl Scout camp, Tapawingo. It's a day camp, but you can stay there over the weekend with your troop or something. So we went with our troop, and we're out canoeing in Lake Champlain. And I remember one of the girls in the other canoe starts screaming. She's like, "Oh, I saw Champy! Oh my god!" So then everybody else, of course, is like screaming because they think they see Champy and all the boats are rocking. We're like, oh my God, we're screaming so loud. And there are people like that live around the camp. It's not
What do
like.
you mean the boats are rocking? Like it looks like there's something under it?
No, like of course, kids are like, the girls are screaming and they're like, oh my God. And they're like shaking.
They're
and
freaking out.
Yeah, they're freaking out. They're freaking out. So somebody tips over. But, we've all been trained on what to do when a canoe tips over, so it was like totally fine.
It's weird how when Girl Scouts like get snapped into that survival instinct, we're like just a bunch of fucking Marines.
Yeah, no, and it was totally fine. We all had life vests on. I mean, there was a leader in every boat, and we know what to do when the boat tips over. We did it every year, multiple times a year, and then at camp we had to do it. So then, it must have been a neighbor or something hears this screaming and can see that a boat has tipped over, so they call the cops. So they call the cops and say, there's girls drowning in this lake. So
and there's a monster.
So, yeah. So we think it's Champy. I personally never saw Champy, but of course everybody else is saying they saw Champy.
Ooh,
so I'm screaming too.
There's a monster, like it's being yelled at that there's a monster in the water and then you fall in.
Into the water.
Right.
As like a little girl.
I would die.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't fall in, but I remember being a part of this, the hype situation.
Rip me.
So rip. So somebody calls the cops. Fire trucks show up, police officers show up. Nobody's actually hurt. I mean, at this point, we get the boat, flip back over. Everybody's fine. We've kind of calmed down from the situation. We're getting out. We see all these cops out like in the field, these fire trucks. And my grandma, the grandma that she is, has a scanner. So she hears every time the cops are going somewhere, the fire department's going somewhere.
So she's losing her fucking mind.
So she's losing her mind. She calls my mom and she's like, aren't the girls at camp? And the camp's like not far from our house. It's like, I don't know, maybe 10 miles away.
Hang on, not to interrupt. As soon as you said, and my grandma, I thought like somehow your grandma had just also showed up with the cops.
No, I'll get to
but
that.
that would have been funny.
I'll get to that.
She leads those. She runs the cops.
Yeah, she runs the cops. She's the king cop.
She knows everything the cops are doing from the scanner. So she calls my mom. My mom is like, "Oh shit, bitch!" So my grandma's. I don't know who met.
Like, don't call me bitch.
I don't know. I don't know who met who. But we're getting out of the water. Not only do I see all these cops, all these fire trucks, but there are my mom and my grandma.
Aw.
They showed up and they're like, "What's going on?" They're like freaking out because we're like 9, 10, and we're like, "What?" It's like totally fine. And then the cops are like, "So nobody's drowning?" We're like, "No."
Well, now you're arrested for wasting my time.
So then it's just as like awkward after that. My mom's like, "Okay, peace."
Good thing it's like not cops for like 2019. Otherwise, you guys would have just gotten fucking
All got
shot.
shot.
Well, I mean, we were wearing life jackets. We might have survived.
Yeah.
No way that bullet's going right through. But that's like not really a cryptid story, but something I remember. And I don't really remember seeing Champy. Okay, I think it was like a sturgeon, but sturgeons are
are fucking horrifying.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
terrifying.
I would rather be in the water with Champy than with a sturgeon.
Yeah.
Because fuck that shit. I don't trust
So
it.
I don't know. You know, it could have even been, who knows what it was. But they thought it was Champy. We screamed. Someone almost dies. Not really. No one died. No one even closely died.
It was like 2 feet of water.
And then my mom and my grandma show up. But we had a great weekend.
What a happy story.
What a happy story. Do you have a cryptid story?
Maybe there's. I've had a couple of spooky ghost experiences, but as far as cryptids, as much as I wanted to, I've never seen anything. Maybe.
You know, there's actually a weird sort of like going back into the whole idea of synchronicities and like fourth dimensional bullshit. One of the things about Bigfoot within the mythology of Bigfoot is a tie-in to ufology.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
because
just a silly word to me, sorry.
it's like, just get used to it.
Ufology.
It's gonna get worse.
Hooray.
Is that these things are only attracted to people who whose brains are essentially in the perfect fucking temperature to experience whatever the fuck this is.
Well, my body temperature runs low, so I'm set.
Well, temperature.
Unless
I guess
I'm
like
the people.
I guess
low
like,
body temperature people.
I guess like temperature
Indigo
in
child.
more of like a metaphorical sense. But
Oh.
like if you are ready, not necessarily even ready, it's like if you go out hunting for this, you're never going to find it. But if you
Right.
go
Right.
out just hanging out, having a day, it could potentially happen to you.
Ugh.
Which is another little issue with high strangeness in the chaos stream. It never is going to happen to you because you want it to happen to you. It is
Right.
going to happen to you because you are going to hit the perfect frequencies of whatever life it is that you need to hit, and you will fall headfirst into the high strangeness.
Fuck that. I hope it doesn't happen.
Well, it might. We never know. I am super willing, like my body is ready, so it's probably never going to happen
My
to me
body
ever
is
again.
ready.
But we have one other person who sent in a story about a cryptid that they experienced,
Yes.
correct? And that's actually going to be
Correct.
able to. Do you have that story up and ready to party?
In just a moment.
Yeah, just grab it. When I'd say in my youth, when I was like 13 to like I don't know 16 or so, I really got into the paranormal and stuff. The place my go-to place on the internet was 4chan. They had a forum.
Right, which I've
the-
never been on.
I'd recommend.
I gotta
keeping it
tell
that
you.
I
way.
recommend don't go on to
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
But there's a board there as a forum,
It's
and it's
mostly like neo-Nazis now.
Oh,
There's a lot of
fuck.
And like pedophiles.
I definitely can't go on there.
and
but there's a paranormal board where
cronies.
back in the day, like I know I didn't experience like the first internet, but it was like
Yeah.
when YouTube was still new.
Yeah.
Right.
This is when I was first starting to get on the internet, and it was like just fucking pictures people found or took themselves.
Yeah,
and they'd either-
creepypasta.
Yeah, but like before that existed.
Oh,
so
that's
there-
where that. Oh,
And it
fuck.
was-
Why
it
can I
was-
think of its name? Slender Man.
Yeah,
That's where
like
Slender
a
Man is
birthplace
from?
of it. Mhm.
Mhm.
But back then, there's a lot more credence to it. There's a lot of like
Sorry.
so I'm gonna say
Nice.
quote unquote stuff that was real. People that had real experiences. Like,
Yeah.
where the fuck do I talk about
Yeah.
this? And
Right.
that was kind of a place for it. Now it's overrun by creepypasta because it was a thing that became popular.
Oh yeah.
Creepypasta is fun to check out every now.
It
and
is fun, but it's
Never been on
mostly
there
just
either.
people. It's like, yeah, sure, that happened. Sure,
Yeah.
Jan.
Yeah,
I
that's
never-
why I always read those stories as
Never.
entertainment. But back in the day, I would stay up hours at night with all the lights off on my computer reading these stories, and I couldn't fucking sleep. I was so scared. But I
I
did see
just-
some ghost shit, so I'll say that for a ghost episode. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I was
No
more
cryptid,
into
right.
fucking Bigfoot and like
Right.
scary monsters and shit, but it never happened.
I was so
Mm.
into the X-Files and Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
the
Which
I-
were my shoots.
I was always super into ghosts, horrified of UFOs,
Mhm.
and not really super aware of cryptids, which is weird because growing up in the Midwest, that's like a fucking hotbed.
Yeah,
for
it's a
big deal.
cryptids. But
I mean, I learned about a lot of that from the Unsolved Mysteries.
there was a preteen book that I got called Cryptid Hunters, and I
Mhm,
told you one of you guys about this recently. And it was just a little novel story, and it talks about Bigfoot, and it was something with Mount St. Helen. And apparently, I think there was a bunch of this might be spoilers for that book to see, but I don't really remember. There's a bunch of
I was gonna
tunnels.
fucking read that book.
The
Andrew.
preteen book. I think it's 200
I
pages.
love reading preteen books.
It's probably good. It probably holds up in a little bit, or in some ways. But
I'm sure it doesn't.
there was there was all these really cool like emails that they'd send back and forth, and they had graphics on it. Anyway, the story was about how there was this. I think it was a series, like a family of big feet that all lived in Mount St. Helen under these crazy tunnels that they made, and it was really cool. Big feet.
It's kind of like the hills
Big
have
feet.
eyes, but
Big
like
feet.
in Mount St. Helen,
Yeah.
and big feet.
And feet. And there's
Big
like,
foots?
the two main characters, they meet him or whatever, but it was cool, and I was just so into it for so long. But do we
Nice.
have this
Oh, yes.
first
Okay.
person?
So actually, this was the first story I got when asking for, personal stories. I put out a post on Facebook.
Yeah.
We all did, asking
Yeah.
for stories. This was the first one that I got. So it is very odd that it kind of wraps into everything tonight.
Maybe that's another thing.
Oh, yes.
thing.
Synchronicity.
Also, just so we're always going to ask for more user stories. So anyone that listens, please submit your stories to us. But I don't know about you guys, but when I sent out the post, I got tons of messages from my like young male friends just saying like, one time I took a shit in the toilet. I got up and I looked and there was nothing there. Oh, that was my scary story. And
Yeah, no,
please
actually,
don't do that.
I got some great stories.
That's
so they
good.
will be popping up. So listen for your name.
Yeah.
I'm going to go first name basis because I don't actually know if these people want their last name.
Yeah,
so,
we didn't actually ask permission.
Yeah, so we'll just say first names.
Yeah, we'll just say first name. And if you want us to use your full name, that's fine.
Or we'll make up a name.
Yeah. So this
Jeff.
Jeff.
this story comes from Andrew. Not our Andrew here. Totally different Andrew. We were
Really
getting
funny.
we were getting very confused earlier. We're like, wait, Andrew
Which
said
one?
what?
Yeah.
No, totally
It'd be funny
different
if I
Andrew.
just denied everything. I
So-
don't have any stories, but then this is my story.
So the first story I got says, I was walking in the woods 3 years ago without my phone and literally stood 10 feet away from a cryptid creature. It was the color orange, walking upright, while I'm not sure if he was saying while I was moving closer to it, it suddenly stopped dead in its tracks and
was
fell
me.
on its hands very smoothly and effortlessly. It then scurried away through the brush and it rolled up on its side. I saw two beastly, beady black eyes and a haggard face.
That really,
And
Is
this
that
all
the end of the
took
story?
place in Lion Mountain, New York.
it just sounds like an upright bear.
And not to be
Um,
confused with lion, like the animal.
Yeah.
Well-
Lion, Lyon.
Yeah,
Liz
that's the
looks like
last
she's-
name, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The actually kind of a weird thing. One of the descriptors for the Bigfoot Sasquatch animal that was in Wendigo. Sorry, I've been trying to
Wendigo.
a Wendigo.
Yeah.
I've been trying to fucking remember the Native American name for that forever.
Right.
Like
That
all this
shit
whole
scare
time.
Wendigo stuff scares
Very-
the fuck out of
very
me.
Well, a
terrifying.
Wendigo is the Native American like background mythos of Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's,
Right.
and
it's a man who eats another man's flesh and then turns into the cryptid, I think. But those things are fucked, man.
maybe this is, I don't know if this is insensitive to say, but I feel like if any like group of people would know about fucking Bigfoot, I would say Native Americans.
Oh,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Right.
Yeah, totally.
So, like their shit, I feel like would be accurate.
Yeah, and the Wendigos, they are. We should actually. That'd be a really cool one.
That
to
would be a
cover,
really cool
specifically the
one.
Wendigo, and then the I don't remember the name of the actual cryptid. But it looks like walking. They look like white, like disembodied MC Hammer pants. There's a ton of
Oh.
videos of them.
Oh my
They're
god!
My
yeah.
little
Scary
sister told me about
as
this.
Fuck, I fell down a rabbit hole and watched this shit. Like,
Yes.
we'll have to write that down. And
I
remember
have
that.
seen
Okay,
videos of those.
okay.
That's scary. That's
Yeah,
freaking
those
or-
things scared the absolute shit out of
Right.
me.
My little sister was talking to me about this. I was like, dude, what the fuck
Yeah.
are you talking about walking pants?
Yeah.
And she was like, you don't know about the walking pants? I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
So to get back to this, so sorry. So the guy describes this guy as having orange red fur, like brown to reddish fur, which is kind of.
I turned on a
interesting.
light in this room because I'm getting scared.
No, turn it back
Ooh.
off.
No,
No,
I gotta-
turn it off.
I gotta sleep here.
It was, you had the
it's
nice
fine.
ambiance. with
Actually,
that
not to
color
like
lighting.
burst another bubble. Not only did I forget my tarot cards, but I also forgot to bring sage.
Ooh, I forgot to wear deodorant.
I mean,
Sorry.
that's fine. We all ate a lot of cheese and onions earlier.
Oh
We're gonna
my
smoke
God.
it. Okay. Yeah. So let's sort of wind it up.
I'm taking it so
Okay,
You're taking a fucking selfie.
it's our first
Send to my
podcast.
It's your first
Mom.
Let her have
podcast.
a
Send to my
special
And
mom.
you're-
My mom will put it on the fridge.
You're so cute with your microphone and your headphones.
That's my greasy ass hair.
So we can kind of like wrap it up. I feel like we have other things that we could have touched on tonight, but I say we save that for the next spicy episode.
Let's save it for the next spicy episode.
Yeah, we'll get spoopy. I
Maybe
can't believe you turned more lights on.
No.
I'm fucking horrified right now.
Oh.
I can't believe I'm gonna have to sleep here.
You're gonna have.
not.
You don't fall into the chaos stream, Andrew. Don't let it consume you.
I really don't want to.
Well, it might actually now because you really don't want it to.
Oh God, wonderful. But yeah, no, that was cool. I think we had a good time. Maybe not every episode will have just one, quote unquote, just one like story that we focus on. Maybe we'll do a couple.
Yeah.
But
and we want to hear from everybody.
Yeah, anybody that's listening. If you have a scary story or just a weird occurrence, no matter how minor it may be, send it in.
Yeah, because we could always tie it into something else.
Yeah.
And blow it up, make it even worse, and scare Andrew even further.
Blow it up.
Blow it up.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
I gotta make an outro music. I forgot to do that.
Ooh.
But all right.
I've got to take a shit.
Oh, you're gonna blow that bathroom up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man.
That's Andrew's bathroom.
That's what's actually gonna haunt this house. You're gonna take a horrible haunted shit.
The
It's gonna
stank
I've got
of my
spray.
the
taco
scent,
baby.
the ghost scent is gonna travel into my nostrils while I'm sleeping and
Yeah.
haunt my dreams.
Actually, speaking of haunting my dreams, I can only shit in my bathroom.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, then no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
I am
that's true. That is
haunted
true.
by constant gut pain of being incapable of shitting anywhere else other than my toilet.
Man, that's the scariest thing I've heard this episode.
Oh my god.
All right, guys.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
for
listening.
listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye. See ya.
I think that's a theremin.